Welcome, Ken in the kitchen. And today I'm gonna be cooking some bulgur wheat. But before I get started, I just want to confess. Not until recently, and when I said recently, maybe like 3 years ago, I found out that I was always cooking bulgur the wrong way. Always doing it, cooking it like rice. But get to find out there's a better way, easier way in my opinion, and the correct way of cooking bulgur wheat. So let's jump into the video and I'll show you how I make my bulgur wheat the new and improved way. So right here we have the bulgur wheat, and this is the one that I get at my supermarket, and that's what we're gonna be using. We're cooking 4 cups, and I'm gonna give it a rinse before I start the cooking process.
Wheat is a nutritious whole grain alternative to rice with plenty of fiber and a delicious hearty texture.
So after finish washing the bulgur, I moved over to the cutting board where I'm chopping up some garlic. And want to get these as small as possible, but you want to be extra careful because you don't want to be cutting your fingers. And I also have some rosemary to the side, and I'm going to use both these to base my bulgur in the next step. Now that we're done with chopping our garlic, we're gonna move over to the stove where we're gonna put it on medium heat, add some butter. So now that the butter has melted, we're adding our rosemary. Then we go in with the chopped garlic. And we're gonna let these saute for about 2 to 3 minutes. After that 2 to 3 minutes, then we go and add our bulgur. So now we're gonna give it a good mix to make sure that butter, garlic, and rosemary flavor get spread throughout that bulgur. And while we're gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes and toast, we wanna make sure we mix it every 2 minutes or so. So after that 5 minutes, we added our water. And to save yourself from that splashback, just be gentle. Take your time while pouring that water into the pot, and you'll save yourself from having extra cleanup work to do. So now we're adding our salt. And we're going to mix that around. And then we're going to cover our pot and just step away and let this come to a boil. Yeah, so after a few minutes, your pot should be boiling. And once it starts to boil, you're going to turn the stove off, and then we're going to put a foil to try to seal and trap all the heat and steam in that pot. And trust me, this pot is hot, so you have to move extra fast. And then we're going to let this sit for about 20 to 25 minutes. So now we move to the next phase, and we're going to prep our bell peppers. So once we're done with cutting the bell peppers and cilantro, we go back to the stove where we're gonna char the bell peppers. We don't want them to get burnt, but slightly charred. And this will help to bring out the flavors in the peppers. So now is the time to reveal that bulgur after it has been sitting for that 20 to 25 minutes. And I must say, this is a great looking bulgur. And you want to get your fork and you want to fluff it just as how you would do when cooking your rice. And gone are the days when I used to boil and cook bulgur just like rice. Once I learned this recipe, there was no turning back. So now I'm adding the cilantro, which will add another level of flavor. And once you get all the cilantro in the pot, you want to give it a good mix so all that cilantro is spread evenly throughout. So now let's add our bell pepper. And this bell pepper will also add another level of flavor. So once the bell pepper is added, we're gonna also mix it. And you want to mix it so it's spread evenly within the pot. Thanks for watching another Ken in the Kitchen. Hope you enjoy this video. I hope you try this recipe and I hope you come back for more. Ken in the Kitchen. Boom.